Hi there.
Hi, welcome back to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
First of all, today, we want to thank Donna for, she had recently purchased a couple of brooches. They're super adorable.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate her, and we just want to say thank you for that. And thank you also for commenting and, being there for us on every video. We really appreciate it. We really look forward to all your comments every day. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. And I'll throw a clip of those images up on the screen so everybody can see how cool those items were that she picked up. So we were talking about, the topic of today is we were talking about how surprised we were at the performance our store's been doing on Mercari. So again, we don't do promoted, ads or anything like this. This is genuine, looking at our numbers. What did we actually find?
Because we've talked so much about diversifying. And so, there's so many different ways that we bring money into the business. The viewer sales is amazing, and that's kind of like another branch, I feel, because it's not exactly the same as eBay sales, right? I mean, yes, it's through eBay, but it's because of YouTube, right? That we even got those customers. And it's not a huge part of our business, and it's not like the main focus, but like we are super grateful, for every sale we get, basically.
Right. So one of the other, revenue streams is YouTube income. And, we talked about kind of a few months back how we were really struggling to get monetization, and we finally got that locked in. So, it is a monetized channel now. So you'll probably see some ads. But again, we're not YouTubers. Like the fact that we've got, as of right now for the entirety of the year, our account balance is at $74. So clearly we're not making our living off from selling ads or doing YouTube content.
Right.
It really is selling and on sales platforms. And so a few months back, we started doing, in addition to our main eBay store, we also added Posh and Mercari. And you were started, and we're just cross-listing our jewelry items, newly listed. So our older listings, we're not crossing those. We're simply manually cross-posting.
Right. So as I do my eBay listing, I kind of take that information and I copy and paste it into both Posh and Mercari. So I have about 400 listings on Posh and Mercari. I think it's like 391 or something that I've done. So that was in the month of April, May, and then now going into June that I've been able, I've been able to get those listings up. And for some of it was a little like disheartening. I feel like Posh, and again, these are just my feels,
which is why we've also got some numbers to support, where it is that we're coming from on how we feel about this. Now, we've heard people talking about how amazing Posh is, clothing sellers specifically talking about how great they've done selling clothing.
Yeah.
And the idea that you can generate a higher value sale on Poshmark.
Right. And I had so many people tell me, oh, your jewelry, that's going to do great on Poshmark. And so I had higher hopes than I probably should have. And Posh has done, again, it's a newer store, so that is also part of it, when you're not a trusted source and you don't have a bunch of sales underneath you.
Well, and I don't know how much sharing and followers plays into Poshmark.
I don't do that. I don't sit there and I don't spend, I literally just list, just like on eBay. So that could very well be part of the fact that I'm not sharing and I'm not having shows and I'm not getting into other people's shows and I'm not actively social media on Posh. And that could be part of the problem. You know, I'm not resharing all of my stuff and all of that. All of the stuff that they say that you're supposed to do. I'm not doing any of that. And so
I think it's funny that you're like, I'm not doing the stuff that I'm supposed to do.
Well, because how could you possibly? It would be a full-time job just sharing people's crap. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not where I'm putting my energies. But conversely, I've also been doing Mercari, and I had zero hopes for Mercari. Like, I was talking to my brother. He's making like wood turned pens, and I had mentioned to him that, you know, okay, well, maybe, you know, think about selling some on Mercari. And he's like, what's Mercari? I've never heard of that. So I didn't have hopes for Mercari at all. And the same number of listings, because I've been doing them both for the same amount of time. There's 382 listings on Mercari, and on Mercari, we've actually done fairly decent.
We have. And so we're just looking at June numbers. Now, June historically for our business has been very slow. It's one of the worst months of the year for us. Yeah. So we knew that going in, that it was going to be a bad month, and we'll have our numbers coming up next week, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But you know, we really started looking at it, and I was blown away the other day. I looked at these numbers, and we're at a 4% sell-through rate in Mercari.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Our eBay store has never performed that well.
No. And like, we've gotten some good dollar sales on Mercari as well. Right.
So I'm looking.
I just sold a necklace a couple of days ago for $120. I know that I've sold rings for like $200.
Right. So
it's not just the low dollar stuff.
Right. I was going to say, part of the thing to consider is that with Mercari, you your sale price is what you get paid. So it kind of changes the dynamic of it. We're not talking about a huge inflated number, which includes shipping and includes marketing and all of the other stuff that goes into, say, eBay.
Yeah, whatever you get on Mercari, like, that's genuinely what you get.
Whatever you get is what goes into your pocket. So we had, out of our, 382 active listings, we had 12 completed sales, which, again, that's not enough to live on by itself. I just want to be very clear.
Yes.
And we had total sales of $168. Our profit was $136 because we did have a return. So that's also something to mention. So our return ratio is 4%.
Right. Because we had one person return
a $40 item.
Yeah, it was a $75 item.
It doesn't math.
Okay.
168. 136.
Yeah. Well, because we haven't gotten all of our funds yet either. That's another thing, is like, you don't get funds until because they were those $75 watch tips that guy ordered, but they were like smaller. I don't know. Anyway.
It doesn't math.
No. But the point is that, I'm very pleased with the amount of effort that's been put into Mercari specifically. I feel like we've gotten our return. The amount of effort that I've put into Posh, I don't feel like I've gotten my return yet.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I do want to mention, I'm manually doing all of these listings, and I'm manually delisting everything as well. So please be so cautious, because we're not using a cross-listing platform. We've attempted it in the past, and it just didn't seem worth. Because,
so I actually want to talk about cross-listing as part of this. And, is it worth it? Is it worth the money? And we've looked at different subscription-based cross-listers. So this isn't about cross-listers, and I'm not trying to slam people that sell cross-listing services. I certainly think that there is an important role there.
Yeah.
It is. I feel like we're walking a tightrope with remembering to delist on 3 different platforms.
I have like so many different like reminder things. I have it in my to-do list every day to delist Posh. We try to do it like as they come in. He reminds me when he's like, oh, did you remember to like, and I'm like I say it out loud, like, okay, I remembered to delist. But then like with Posh, if there's an offer that's out, it has to be out for 24 hours. So if you sell it on a different platform, then I can't delist it on Posh, which is just the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, so that's certainly concerning.
It is, because then I have to have like a big post-it that says, hey, delist this on Posh, because I haven't delisted it yet because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I
don't know if that's a glitch or if that's intentional. I don't understand that.
Again, I'm not a Posh master in any way, shape, or form. I just said I don't do anything on Posh but list.
So, I mean, you sold 2 items on Posh this month. So,
I sold 5 the month before.
Yeah,
I think it was.
So just to be fair, I do want to be clear that we sold 2 on Posh, 12 on Mercari. So to kind of put that into context, those are low volume listings, right? We have low amount of listings on those platforms because we just started listing on there.
Right.
To put it into context, our eBay store, just so everyone is aware, we did 241 sales this month on eBay. So 241
so it's like 0.5%
to 12 to 2. So, but the difference is we have 12,000 items in our eBay store and our main store. Now, I'm not talking about our ad store, which is a totally different brand and a totally different thing, but
right.
It really does start to make you think, though, because our sell-through rate in our main store is 1.4% on eBay versus 4% on Mercari.
Right.
And so that really gets me really excited and really gives me hope that, if we could build out that store a little bit more, it might legitimately turn into a solid revenue stream.
It would really be nice. It really would. I mean, obviously that's the goal for everybody, right? Is to make their business successful. And we're finding that in order to find that success, we do need to diversify and reach out to other platforms and maybe get some different things that are in our store that maybe aren't the niches that we really like to do. Branch out into, like, there's different estate companies that we're working with now to try to find different items than we're used to finding. I think that the flexibility that you have to have in order to succeed in this world is insanity. Like, you have to, like, it's craziness because, and I tell him all the time, like, I'm so proud of him for being able to look beyond what we're doing right now and try to find that next thing that's going to make the household money, so he did have to go, okay, well, eBay isn't all that there is, so maybe we should do a YouTube channel and try to, like, branch out in that way, or do this Posh and Mercari thing and try to branch out in that way, or
right. So we've got, if you think about the fishing, you got to have a lot of lines in the water to catch a lot of fish. And so that's really what we've tried to do, is we've tried to, over the course of the past year, so July of last year, we started with our ad store and we started casting lines, right?
Yeah.
We started our Whatnot channel. We started, and basically what we've done is we've kind of patchworked together all of these different platforms
so that we can have some Franken business.
Right. And that's really what it's turning into, is a Franken business, a Frankenstein reselling, where you're selling on so many different platforms that if one's having a bad week or one's having an off day, we can typically make it up then on another platform. So, that really is critical to what we're doing right now, because we're not seeing a tremendous amount of growth in our mainline business on our eBay store.
Yeah.
So it's frankly, it's been down, and it's been down for several months. It's been down. The only up month we've had this year was January.
Well, February was good too, though, wasn't it?
It was down under last year.
Oh, okay.
So again, like, we'll do more deep dive on our month over month and year over year 2 weeks from now. So, but we wanted to talk about it. Like, what are you guys seeing out there in the reselling world? What are your experiences? Are other people seeing this with Mercari? Is this an anomaly for us?
I would like to know if you guys are cross-listing on Posh and Mercari. What do your numbers look like? Are you finding that, you're surprised at the highs or the lows that you're seeing on some of the other platforms? Are you using the other platforms? We hear bits and pieces of people talking about cross listing, but
right. So a big part to me is that there's not a lot of committed content to other platforms.
Right.
90% of the content that, at least that the algorithm, recommends for me out there, is eBay selling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not seeing a lot of information about Poshmark.
Right.
If you guys have tried to ever follow our Facebook, I'm not on there. Like I'm just not committed to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Again, we don't really do the social media thing because
right.
we're too busy running our other business.
Right.
Like
we have 6 arms to this business, and
right.
trying to sit down and look at Facebook, or trying to sit down and try to, relist other people's items doesn't really play into our world.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where I'm at, is like, are we missing something with Posh, or is that genuinely representative of the platform?
Yeah.
Is that it's, got a less than 1% sell-through rate? And then the other thing is, like, are people genuinely seeing the same type of results on Mercari? I am shocked.
I am
absolutely shocked. I've never heard a positive word about the platform. Every time I hear somebody talk about it, they talk about how it's a discount site, how you're not going to get the same prices you would on eBay. But
they don't have the same fees as eBay. Goodness.
For the seller.
Right.
So when we do list the items on the platform,
we take off the
shipping and we take off the fees.
Yeah.
So we do take that discount and we just present it like, this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
And, so sometimes it can seem like when we get that sales number through and we go, it sold for $12, it can be a little startling. And then you realize, oh, well, if it was a $20 item on eBay, free shipping, we would have got $12. So it's
really different to kind of wrap your head around. And it is something that I have to think about while I'm doing the listing, because, like, I do want to pass those savings on to my customers. I want them to have the best deals, So it is, I don't know, it's a different website,
It really is. It's a different selling experience, and is certainly giving us much different results than what I had expected. And I think it's interesting. A lot of people that I've heard talking in the community are talking about how well they've done on Posh. And that's not representative for us.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the same items, like literally, it's the exact same items, because I genuinely took them and I listed the exact same item on all 3 platforms. Yeah. So on the same day, like, maybe everything is equal.
I mean, this is a hypothesis. I have no proof at this point, but is it a different user? Is Posh a younger customer base than Mercari, or is it different socioeconomic person?
Yeah.
Maybe the person that's on Mercari is the value shopper, opposed to Posh is looking for more of the high end items. I don't know. I genuinely do not know. So, I do want to know what the community thinks about that and what your experiences are, because, do we need to put more energy into that? Should I take some of the ephemera type items? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know that ephemera is going to work, but I didn't know that jewelry was going to work on Mercari.
Yeah.
Because again, like you hear that it's like this, you would think that it's a cheaper place, but I've done better with fine jewelry on Mercari than
at least in the last month.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, we're dealing with a very small data set, and that's really where I struggle, is that we're legitimately comparing 400 items in one store to 12,000 in another,
and that's hard too, because again, like if you do have such a small set of items, and then it's not a really great experiment, because not all things are created equal.
Right. right? So that's what we're seeing. Again, please comment, like, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks so much. Good luck to you guys out there.